Hey, boys and girls. So on the Pathfinders sheet that we did in class, watching that little 2-minute video clip will really help you understand that flow of electrons out of a battery. The video highlighted that those electrons come out the negative side and they will flow through that wire, which is a conductor, and it will continue to flow as long as it's a closed path. It follows that little path or the circuit around back to the positive side of the battery. And then those electrons, kind of like a racetrack, can continue to flow through there until the battery is dead or the something becomes disconnected. It did highlight that you need to have a wire touching the side of the light bulb and something touching the very bottom tip. So this is the sheet we did in class together. To find the 4 that did work, so we'll look through each of these. And then we had another sheet that was called Repair Manual, which I'll just go through these 9 and highlight what works and didn't work, which will make that Repair Manual sheet a little bit easier to do as well. So looking at number A, or letter A, sorry, you do see on the negative side down here, you do see a wire touching. So those electrons will come out. They'll flow through this wire or the conductor, touches the side, and it should go up and over that filament, making the light bulb go on. And you'll see that converted to light energy and heat. And then the electrons will continue to flow down. The tip is touching the positive side of the battery, so those electrons can continue to flow all the way through this path over and over. So A is one that did work. Moving on to B, you can see the tip is just touching the side of the battery. That's not a conductor. The side of the battery, there's no electrons flowing through there, just the negative and positive metal ends of it. And there's also not a wire anyways. So it all starts down here on the negative end, and there's nothing to take those electrons away. So B, you can cross that off. B does not work. Okay, you would probably need to have this touching the metal end or have a wire that comes around and touches maybe the bottom, because you can see there is already a wire touching the side. C was a tricky one. It does have the wire coming out negative, and those electrons will flow through that conductor. But right here you can see that there's a little wire that just goes between the positive and the tip of the bulb. Nothing at all touches the side of the light bulb, so C should not work. D is one that is more obvious, I think. There's no wires. It's just the tip of the bulb touching the positive. Nothing is touching the negative side. So this is an incomplete circuit. That light bulb will not go on. All right. Looking at E, this is kind of the flipped over version of A. Starting on the negative side, the tip is touching the negative side of the battery. Those electrons will flow up through here, will cross over the filament, lighting the light bulb. Come out here, there is something touching this side, and then those electrons will continually flow through the positive side, down through, over the filament, out the side, up through. So this is a closed path. E is one that will work. All right, on to F. There are wires touching the negative side where the electrons will come out. Those will flow up, but it looks like both wires only touch the bottom tip of the bulb. Nothing is touching the side of it. And there's a gap here. Nothing's touching the positive side, so nothing will flow back through the battery. F will not work. G, electrons flow out the negative side, travel that wire, coming around. Something does touch the bottom tip, goes through, lights that filament, the bulb will go on, create light and heat, and then on the side it is touching the positive, so those electrons will flow out and through again. So you do have a closed path on this one. H, this one was hard to do all by yourself because there's lots of places you needed to hold things, but again, starting at the negative side where the electron journey begins, out the negative side, through the wire, up there is a conductor touching this side. Those electrons will come in, go over the filament, creating light and heat, and it will come down through the tip. And then there is a wire that will deliver those electrons back to the battery. And then that path is closed. It'll just continue to flow through there until something becomes disconnected or the battery is drained. And the last one, you can see where the journey begins down on the negative side. There is no wire. There's nothing touching. So in order to fix this one, I would put a wire that touches here. And I would run that wire up to touch the side of the bulb right here, because then it comes through, lights the filament, back to the positive side of the battery here too. So, okay. Hope that helps to go through some of those. Make sure if you have questions too, you can tune into WebEx on Fridays. Jump in, ask a question, come in at Win if you need help with some of these or if you're still not understanding. So thanks.